Hello and welcome to Making a Well in Maya. As usual, we're going to start off by making our folders. And since we're going to be texturing this, it is always good to set them up. So go to File, Project Windows. First of all, make sure you're happy with the location. And then if you're not, click New to set the name of the project. In this case, we're going to call it Well. And if you're happy with the location and all the files, click Accept. Now, if you've downloaded the example folders, if you're working from college, it's on Moodle. If not, I can make them available on my YouTube page. Basically, get the zip file. Here's one I prepared earlier. Navigate to your Maya file, Projects, Well, and in there you should find a folder called Source Images. If done correctly, this is what yours should look like. And here I can just paste my zip folder and unzip it. I tend to always like opening the folder and copying the files. This way I can control extra folders, etc. If you want to, you can delete the original zip folder. Don't need that anymore, got the files we need. And if you want to take a look, as you can see, the folders are all mostly textures, and we have one guide which we'll mostly be working from to start with. So back into Maya, we want to place our guide, so go to Create, Free Image Plane, then right click, select Image Plane 1, and we're going to load up a file, but first we need to rename this. I'm going to change mine to change the word image to guide, so it'll read as guide plane shape, and load up my well guide image. Now it's a case of just repositioning my well. I want the base to be on line with the grid, because I check in the other front viewport. And I'm just push it back so it's out of the way when I'm working in perspective, but I can still see it in the front view. Now I'm going to duplicate this. There is a shortcut called Control D, but in this instance, just going to click Duplicate, and now I've made a copy of the first one, which is going to be set to the side. Going on to the channel box, I'm just going to change the rotation. And make sure it's 90 degrees. And move it back. Now I want to make sure that they are in line. So on the side view, I want to make sure that the side is centered. This will make it a lot easier later when creating shapes, they'll work on the center lines. I'm going to do the same for the front view, just move it to the side. You don't have to be exactly spot on, but the closer you get, the easier it is. Now we're ready to go into the perspective view, and just moving the guides back. I like to keep it to a nice solid -50. Now we can select both of them, and in the channel box under Display tab, we can click on the last icon, create a new layer from the selected items, and in here I can rename it as Guide and change the display type to Reference. Once you've done that, click Save, Click away, and now I cannot click the guides. This will be really handy when manipulating our image because it is so annoying when selecting the guides. Now we can start creating our primitives. Go to Create, Polygon Primitives, Pipe. Now in the other views we want to be able to see the guides, so go to Shading, X-Ray, and do it for the side view as well. This way we'll be able to see through the object and still see the guide. Now simply moving it into position. Now we can get the scale tool and just scale it up a little bit. Now looking to the center of it, we want to make it a bit thinner. So opening up the inputs and going to Polypipe 1, change the thickness. I've changed mine to 1.2. That looks right. And now and then, remember to rename it. I have renamed mine Well Mid. I'm going to speed up the footage whilst I carry on and apply the same techniques but creating the base and the top half. Now we've completed the base of the well, we can start on the roof. Always remember to save your scene. Unfortunately Maya does tend to crash, so it's handy to save it now and then. But it's also best to save in stages, so that if one of the files becomes corrupt, you can go back a step instead of having to recreate the entire thing again. We're going to create a cube. Now this is going to act as the roof for our well, so we're going to have to rotate it into position. Now I'm going to keep mine to about a 45 degree on the x-axis. Going to the modeling toolkit, we're going to select the faces we don't want and delete them. Now the faces I want, I can turn it back to object mode. Now using the front view, I can start scaling out my roof. Now as you can see individually, this is not going to work. Sometimes it is handy to select both the axes together, so selecting the Z and Y axes. Now I want to bring down my object, but it's going to be a bit tricky to get it absolutely perfect. You can just move it around, etc. So back onto the object toolkit, I'm going to go down and change the pivot point to world. As you can see, there's many different things, but because like I said to world, I can just bring it down, straight down. Now we're going to have to create a little bit more detail. I want to make this a slightly crooked roof. So to do this, I need to add more edges. In the Mesh tools, click on the Insert Edge Loop tool. Now, if yours is set wrong, just go to the tool settings. Now, using the front view as my guide, I can make sure it's as close to center as possible. Now to make sure we're doing the same going across both sides, go to Modeling Toolkit, turn Symmetry to World Z, then click going across and it'll do it equally for both sides. Now with the symmetry turned on, you can select the vertices and adjust them to fit your guide. Adjust the vertices to fit the side and then front view. This section I'm going to sped up a bit faster. Now you have a nice base for your crooked roof. Now to avoid problems, what we're going to Object Mode, Edit, Delete all by type, History. This will prevent any further issues in our models later. Now we're going to select the mesh, hit Extrude in the Object Toolkit, and just to add a little thickness to our roof. Now if your roof appears black, this is because the display mode is reverse. Select all the faces, go to Mesh Display, Reverse. This will set the faces back to normal. I've created a demonstration. Here I've got a polygon plane with many faces. I'm going to select a few faces and then Mesh Display Reverse. And as you can see, the ones that have been reversed are black on top and grey underneath. This is because the grey ones are reflecting the light, the black ones are not. This will be a good place to leave off, and we'll carry on working on the frame and adding more detail to our mesh. So until next time, I'll see you later.